Hi, welcome. Today I will teach you how to play chess. How do I play chess? First of all, you need to know that the first player to play, it's always the white player. Then, about the chessboard, you have 64 squares, and each player has 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, a king, and a queen. And right now we will talk about each one of these pieces. So it's important to know that our reference will be always the pawn to know the value, okay? So the first piece we are going to talk is the king. So the king is the most important piece on the chessboard. Why? Well, the king is important because if you give checkmate, you are going to win the game. And what is the checkmate? Well, we will see this in detail on our second video. So for now, you will know that the checkmate isn't when the king is taken, but when the king it's being attacked and cannot go away, cannot run anywhere. So in some minutes I will show you one position, but we will talk about that later on the second video. Okay, so about the king's movement, for now you just need to know that the king plays everywhere one square. Another important rule is that the king cannot sacrifice. So if, for example, I play this, he plays that, I play this, for example, so I can play one square on each direction, even if I want to play backwards. And for example, I play that, and if my opponent wants to play here, here, or here, the chess rules will say that this is forbidden. You cannot play this move. If you do that, you will have a mistake. And for example, on an official game, 2 mistakes and you will lose the game, but by mistakes. So about the chess rules, you cannot give up your king, you cannot sacrifice your king. So for example, I cannot play here, here, or here, but it's possible to play in to the other directions. So very important, the king can play to every direction one square, but it isn't possible to sacrifice the king. When the king is being attacked and cannot play anywhere, this is called a checkmate. So about the king's value, later on the second topic, I will remember everything, but about the values. But the king is so important that it doesn't has value. So because when you lose with checkmate, for example, the game is lost. You don't need to know the value, so you don't need to evaluate with points the king. So the first piece, it's done. Now let's jump to the second piece. It's not 1 but 8 pieces. So this piece is called pawn, and the pawn represents the soldier on a battle. So when I'm playing and I haven't played my pawn yet, on the initial squares you can play 1 or 2 squares, the pawn. If the pawn isn't on the initial square, you cannot play 2 squares, but 1 square. About the capture, the pawn, it's the only piece that captures a different way of as their movement. For example, if I play this pawn 2 squares, the black player can opt to play any of these pawns 1 or 2 squares, always in front, okay? So, for example, I'm going to play this move. Right now, if I want to play this pawn, he isn't on the initial square, so you just can advance one move. Another important rule about the pawn is that is the only piece that cannot play backwards. So I cannot play backwards. If you reach the other side of the chessboard, you can ask for a new piece. About the new piece, you can ask for a queen, a rook, a bishop, or a knight. Okay? And about the capture, well, let's see. Pawn, pawn, I'm going to play, for example, this one. And imagine the black player will play this move, f5. And, well, if your opponents play a piece, it doesn't matter if it's a pawn or is another piece. Of course, he cannot give up his king, of course. If it's on the diagonal, you can take. You're not obligated to take. This isn't checkers. So if you want, you can take. If you don't want, you can advance one square. So to take, I will put my pawn on the square where my opponent's pawn is. So I'm going to play and the pawn is mine and I'm winning by 1 point. Imagine. Now my opponent isn't very strong, is distracted and is going to give up another pawn. Of course, if I want, I can take. I will not take 2 pawns. This isn't checkers. So I just take 1 pawn. And my opponent, if he wants, he will take the pawn. I will show you the promotion right now. So, for example, I'm going to play. Each of these pawns can play 2 or 1, okay? And these ones can play 2 or 1. Those pawns just can advance 1 because they already been played. So, let's go. Pawn 2 squares and I will give up this pawn. Pawn takes and oh my god, this pawn will reach the other side. Of course, this position and the other are just demonstrative because you cannot play a chess game without kings. This is just to isolate the pieces to be more easier to be easier to explain all the movements. So pawn advances, pawn advances, pawn advances, and right now, if I advance, I can ask for a queen. Sorry, this is because I'm with the analysis board. I can ask a queen, I can ask a rook, I can ask a bishop, or I can ask for a knight. So I would advance the pawn. Right now I'm going to put a queen. I would advance the pawn. I would put the queen on the chessboard, and then it's my opponent's turn. And after my opponent's turn, I will make my move. So about the pawns, it's all. So later we will resume all of that. So the pawns advances 2 or 1 square if they haven't been played. They cannot play backwards. And they take on the diagonals and stop on the square where our opponent's piece is. So we already talked about the king. The king plays on each direction 1 square and cannot be sacrificed. We talked about the pawn, and now we will advance to we will advance to the queens. So these queens are those queens are on the initial square, and the queen it's the queen is similar to the king, but with a small or very big difference. The king plays on each direction one square. The queen doesn't have any restriction. So, for example, if I were playing with white, I would play, if I want, to any of these directions. Of course, I'm doing the arrow to the other side, but if I want, I can opt to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not 9 because the chessboard isn't so big, but you can play for wherever you want. Of course, in this position, I could take the queen. So imagine I'm going to put this queen here just to show some movements. And important, the only piece that plays and captures on a different direction is the pawn. The rest of the pieces takes the same way they move. So let's see, I'm going to play here. Now, this queen cannot take, so I'm going to play here, for example, just to show. If this queen plays, for example, here, he can take, sorry. If I play here, this queen can take. If I play here, this queen can take. Let's see, if I play here, this queen can take. So the queen is quite powerful. So our reference for the points are the pawn. So each pawn has a value of 1 point. Just to have one idea, the queen worth 9 points. So queen alone is more valuable than all of the pawns. Of course, this is very pretty, but we have some exceptions, and probably if you enjoy to play chess, you will take your entire life to learn all the exceptions, because chess is so beautiful that it's literally impossible to know all. So, for example, if I played this move, queen takes and it's over. This position. I am showing you this isolated pieces because this is the what I do when I teach on schools. So I think it's a more controlled way to teach the pieces movements. So let's jump to the next piece. The next piece is the rook. So the rook plays in front, backwards, to the right and to the left, all the squares you want. So, for example, this is the initial position of the rook, and if I want, I can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter, and I can take the rook. So, if I'm playing with white, rook takes rook, and if the black player is a good player, he can take two. For example, I'm going to take this rook. Important. In the beginning, most persons ask me, oh, can I take? No. We will talk next about that. So the rooks cannot do that. For example, let's see some moves. You can play 1, 2, 3. I cannot do that. So, are you saying? Because the rook plays in lines. If I do that, okay, it's over. Rook takes. It's finished. About this piece value, well, the rook worth 5 points. So we have already seen the pawn worth 1, the queen 9, and the rook 5. About the king doesn't have value because it's very important. Let's continue. About the bishops. So the bishops play over the diagonals. So don't forget, the only piece that cannot play backwards is the pawn. So if I want, I can play for any of these squares. So we have one back square bishop and one white square bishop. So, of course, this bishop cannot take never this bishop, because one is white and the other is black. And, of course, my bishop will play always on the black squares over the diagonals, and the other one will play just on the white squares. So if I play here, this bishop can take. If I play, for example, here, this bishop can take. So let's see some moves. Bishop, 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 bishop. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Bishop takes, bang. And now bishop, 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 I take, not good. Bishop, I take, not good. Bishop here, bishop here, bishop here. This is possible, no, because bishops play over the diagonal. So let's play here. Is this good? No, this is bad. Bang. Now this, of course, this is equal. This is draw, because this position is draw because one bishop is on the black squares and the other is on the white squares, because of the reason we've been talking about. About bishop, the bishop value. The bishop worth 3 points. And we are almost finishing the movement. So we need to talk about the knight. Well, the bishops represent the church. The rooks represent the fortress. The king represents the king and the queen, of course, and the pawns represent the soldiers. So about the knights represent the knights. It's quite obvious. So this is a piece that normally most beginners have some difficulties, because the knights play like the letter L, and they need to play like the letter L 3 moves. So let's see this slowly. So this knight can play 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to put with blue. 1, 2, 3. Blue again. And 1, 2, 3. So, are you seeing? This is a L. This is another L. And this is another L. This one, 1, 2, 3, L. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3. Very important about the knights. The knight takes like their move, but it's important to know that the knight is the only piece that can jump other pieces, and the knight takes on the last square he stops. So let's see. If I play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, ends. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So if I didn't stop on the square where the knight is, I could not take the knight. But I'm stopping on the square where the knight is. So this knight is mine. I'm going to show what I were talking about. So 1, 2, 3. Look, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Nope. No. So sorry. No again. No. I cannot take, so let's play here. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Bang. Let's continue a little bit. more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I cannot take. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I won. So it's quite easy. About the knight's movements. Yeah, the knights works the same as the bishops. So 3 points. But now this is complicated. It's yeah, it's complicated. I'm going to explain you on this series continuation on another video, but the piece value of the knight and bishop will depend on the position. So for now, you just need to know that on open games, the bishop will be more valuable than the knight. On closed games, the knight will be more powerful. But for now, we will just talk about that because I don't want to give you a lot of information because it's stressful, of course. Well, let's continue. So we've talked about all the pieces and we've already seen all the movements. So let's see again what we have. So we talked about the king, 1 square on each direction. The queen, you can play wherever squares you want on each direction. Bishop, diagonals, the squares you want. The rook, front, backwards, left and right, the squares you want. The knight plays like the letter L, 3 squares. And finally, the pawn. If you haven't played the pawns, you can choose between two or 1 in front. You take on the diagonals, and it's the only piece that cannot play backwards, and it's the only piece too that takes on a different way because they take on the diagonals, and you stop always on the square where the piece is. So this means we need to talk again about the pieces values very quick because we already have almost half of an hour on this video and I want to do some exercises with you. So the pawn words, do you remember? 1 point. The bishop words 3 and the knight 3 points. The rook 5 points. The queen 9 points. About the king doesn't worth nothing, worth all. And you can never sacrifice, never, you can never sacrifice your king. With 2 mistakes, you lose the game. So be careful, okay? So we're seeing right now our starting position. So, well, in the beginning, you will have some difficulties to know the initial position of the pieces. But with practice, I think in 1 or 2 weeks, you already you will be very autonomous, and you will do that alone. So, one important thing, don't forget, the knight is the only piece that can jump. So, for example, if I start and don't remember white is the first to play, I can choose between any of these pawns, 2 or 1 square, and I can choose to play the knight. Okay, for now I don't need to talk more about the movements, okay? In the end, I will talk a little bit about our next video. So, well, important. Let's practice a little bit. So, of course, I hope you're enjoying this video. And for now, this channel has 1 week. And, well, I've seen that 60% isn't subscribed. So if you're seeing value on this channel, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe, like, push the like button, and comments. Tell me everything, okay? Talk with me. So thanks, and let's continue. So, well, about our exercises. So I will do one question. So in this position, white has played this pawn and black has played this pawn. So can I take this pawn? This is the question. Can I take this pawn? Yes or no? Well, the answer is no. I cannot take this pawn. Why is that? Simple. I only can take if my opponents push a pawn to the diagonals. So, for example, if my opponent has played f5, yes, I could take the f5 pawn with my pawn. So, easy. Next exercise. Here is white to play. What is the best move? Don't forget. I will say the value of the pieces. Pawn 1, bishop 3, knight 3, rook 5, queen 9, king, it doesn't matter. So, what is the best move? Have you seen? Serious? Wow, great. Bishop takes rook. So, I will win 5 points and I will lose 3 points. Sorry. So, I won 5, I've lost 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So, I won 2 points. Great. Well, you're improving a lot for a first day. So, next position. We are playing with white. And what is the best move? Have you seen? Yeah. Rook takes rook. This rook is opened. So, I can take my opponent's rook. So, rook takes rook, and I won how many points? 5. 5 points. Continuing. Here I am playing with black. And this is the complicated piece. Because we need to know if the knight can take the pawn. Is it possible to take? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, great. I'm stopping on the square where the pawn is. So this isn't red. This is blue. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I won the pawn. Great. Next exercise. And we are finishing right now. So we have more 3 exercises. So in this position is black to play. So what is the best move? You need to be careful. And the next 2 positions are the last ones of this video, but they will be talked in the beginning of our continuation on the next video, of course. So yeah, the best move is knight takes queen. So 1, 2, 3, right? So how many points have I won? 9 points. So I'm completely won right now. So in this position, the question is possible to take the queen? And what piece can take this queen? The answer is yes. Is possible to take this queen. And the piece is the king. The king can take the queen because if I take the queen, the queen isn't protected, so it's safe to take, and I'm not sacrificing my king. So, for example, if I wanted to play this move, I were committing a mistake because I cannot give up my king. It's mandatory to take the queen. Okay? Last position. Here, I'm playing with black. Can I take the queen? Yes or no? Well, the answer is no. This game is over. This is a checkmate. And with that, this will be our last position. And then we will resume a little bit of what we've been talking about. But this is a checkmate. Why is this a checkmate? Well, if I wanted to take the queen, it wouldn't be possible because the bishop is protecting the queen. So because of that, the platform doesn't let me to take. Are you seeing? So if the bishop wasn't here, like this position, yeah, I could take because the king is safe. But in this position, the queen is being protected. So it's impossible to take. The next question is, I cannot take, but can I run away? Can I go to any safe square? Well, here no, because of the bishop. Here no, because the queen is attacking this square. Here no, because of the pawn. And here no, because of the queen. This is a checkmate. Checkmate is when we are being attacked and we cannot take the attacking piece and cannot go away, cannot run for a safe square. So with that, we've already seen the history of chess, the movements, the piece values, and we've done some exercises. But I don't want you to have any doubts. So in 1 minute, I want to remember all the concepts. So we've talked about here about the pieces movements. So the pawn worth 1 point. They, in the beginning, when you never played, you can play double moves and they play forwards. You cannot play backwards. If you reach the other side, you can ask for a new piece. I'm talking about queens, rook, bishop, or knight, and captures on diagonals. Sorry if I have any English mistake, okay? Because I'm Portuguese, so. About the knights, they worth 3 points. It's an L-shaped movement pattern, and they can jump over the other pieces. So they take as the same way as they move, and you just take if you finish on the square where is the piece. About the bishops, they worth 3 points, and they move on diagonals. About the rook, they have linear movements, so front, backwards, left and right without any restriction of movements. They take as they move. About the queen, worth 9 points. They have versatile movements, so they can play on every direction the squares you want. Finally, we have the king. The king doesn't have value because he's the most important piece, and they are limited to play just 1 square on each direction. Very important. If you give checkmate, you win the game. The checkmate isn't the way isn't when you take the opponent's king, but when you attack, you cannot lose your piece, and the king cannot take or go away or run for a safe square. About the king, don't forget, you cannot sacrifice your king. It's the most important piece of a chess game. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to push the like button, subscribe, and tomorrow we'll be here again. Thanks again for your help, and till tomorrow. Bye bye.